Kiss 92's Big Show welcomes Dr. Martha Lee,
Hey, baby.
the sexyologist.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Hey, close the door.
Okay, closed.
All right. Welcome to Behind Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee.
Yay! Good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, Martha, right? Glenn and I just yesterday we were, we were having a little bit of not a wager, lah, okay? But a thought occurred to us because this week, right? Angel is not around, and because Angel can be quite proper, right? So we're wondering.
Very proper,
Yes.
actually. You notice that?
She's the voice
Martha?
of reason.
Yeah, lah. So
Okay.
that means proper, lah.
Classy. She's classy, okay? And she's very on brand in that
Could have
way.
been a nun.
So I'm just wondering, or we were just wondering, on a week, right, where you are in and Angel is not here,
Yes, I'm
you know,
scared.
no, would you end up becoming more saucy and more descriptive and maybe a little edgier in how you're on the show without Angel here?
My comfort blanket is not here, so yeah,
Oh.
I'm a bit scared.
Okay.
So
if
you know-
anything, you might feel even looser today.
Okay, I'll try. I'll try to be looser.
You know, Martha, I think we've been working together for quite a while now, and I think I understand Martha a lot.
Yep.
You know, it's not like Martha doesn't want to, say more on air, like
Let
what
go.
you just mentioned,
Yes.
be more saucy and stuff like that. But she understands broadcasting. She understands the rules, and that's why she kind of like holds back a little bit. But I'm sure if we were to appear on her YouTube channel,
Then it'll be different.
it'll be a different Martha
Wow.
altogether. Am I right now, Martha?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a straight shooter.
So we're looking forward to those invites to your podcast and YouTube show.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure and also difficulties and costs, right, in doing a podcast because nowadays people want it to also be video.
Yeah, that's why I will never do a podcast unless I have my
Producers,
sponsors
sponsors.
and advertisers.
Yep.
No money, no talk, man.
Okay. All right. So sponsors.
That's how I roll these days.
Are you listening in?
You should roll like that as well. You know.
Okay, call
Martha.
us.
All right. Okay. In the meantime, today we got you here because this is a topic very close to our hearts. The question is why men get tired of asking. All right. Now, when you're talking about asking, you're talking about asking for. Is it?
Sex.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
All right. Well, I mean, the answer to that is easy because we fed up. Ask once, say no. Ask twice, say no.
Can
We
I
fed up
just
already, what?
say something as well? I think it also works the other way around. I think women also ask and then they get turned down by their husbands
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, so we went along with the title just because it's definitely more general in the sense that I see this quite a lot where my clients, it's the guy who keeps asking or trying to initiate, and it's their female partners who turn them down. Also, it is very linked to the constant frustration that Glenn has been expressing for all the men out there,
Yeah.
which is their wives just don't want to have sex with them. So I thought today, without Angel, we can just unpack it much more openly.
Okay. I will have to say this though. I mean, while we are having this conversation on air or online, depending on whether you're catching us on Big Show TV, if you have questions or you have comments, things that you want to be addressed as well, please reach out to us in the comment section so we can also direct them to Dr. Lee and have her, answer those questions.
It's not always that we have a doctor on air, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, once in a blue moon, actually. Actually, no. We've been having you on the show quite
Yeah, since last
regularly,
year.
actually.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate. And so, yes, definitely do not want to get fired.
Okay, any questions you want to ask Dr. Lee, please send them through on our Facebook page. Okay, meantime, here's Charlie XCX with 360 on Kiss 92.
Okay, so I'm launching our Facebook thing so I can look at the comments as they come through. But yeah, Dr. Lee, why don't you start us off? Men getting tired of asking.
Yeah, I think what you said just now really summed it up. They are just fed up because they always are expected to want sex, be horny, initiate, perform, and like suck it up, really like be strong and brave and not feel offended or hurt. But essentially, I feel a lot of my clients just want to be wanted. They feel that it's getting very, very one-sided and rejection hurts.
Yeah.
So yes, they get fed up. They feel that they are not loved, they are not desired, they are not attractive, they are not reassured, they don't feel close to their partner, they feel not chosen, they feel like the last thing on the list of many things. They're not a priority, and yeah, they miss feeling wanted, and especially so before kids.
Yeah, I think that you touched on a really good point. They want to be wanted, okay? And I always feel, right, like when it comes to guys and girls, right, it's the ladies who always assume, they always want to feel attractive, that they're in demand. But, as guys get older, we too, want our ego stroked. We also want to feel that we still have, that's why we hear about a midlife crisis, right?
Yeah.
Because a guy, he wants to buy a motorcycle or he wants to get a new hairstyle. Because even as he gets older, he also wants to hope, okay, or assume that his market value is still up there.
Yeah, but this is the thing I feel is so sucky about relationships, Dr. Lee. The fact that couples always take each other for granted. Let's say it's the woman wanting, to be intimate with the guy all the time. The guy will take her for granted.
Yes.
If it's the other way around, same thing. So when you don't have something, you crave for it, you want it, you complain, you don't have it. But when you have it, you take it for granted.
Yeah, we want it all.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like there is no middle ground.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's like they're complaining, and they want to look elsewhere. And then when they get that, they feel like, no, that's not exactly what they want. And then it's a bit too late already because you have, crossed the line.
Yes,
and
too
then
little, too late.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's really a very complex and irritating situation, actually, I feel sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I often say it's either 1 foot or 2 feet out the door.
Right.
And sometimes when they come in and then they realize actually they don't want to try anymore.
Yeah. So I just want to say, if you feel that you have a good thing with your partner, even though you might not be getting intimate like so often, if you feel like you love the person tremendously and all that, just treasure that.
Okay. All right. But, back to the point today about get tired of asking, regardless of whether it's coming from the guy or the girl. All right. Obviously, they're not going to get tired of asking if they asked one time and they got rejected, right? Unless they're very super sensitive. Oh, you slighted me. Now I will never ask you again. How long, in general, of getting rejected, how many times before they finally get tired?
I think it depends on the person's resilience. But I do have clients, they try for years and they keep feeling rejected. And sometimes you can say it's excuses or reasons. But after a while, it's always the same thing of no. And even the way they are being let down can be done in a more gentle way, rather than being treated as a nuisance or a pest. Or they also get a sense that it's pity sex or duty sex they are feeling, and so it's not fulfilling. And so they ask for it, they get it, but they don't get it in a very consensual way. And they feel that their partner is just going through the motions.
Oh, or worse, if the partner, particularly the woman, is like watching a lot of those Netflix shows, right? Especially now K-drama and C-drama.
Oh
and then
my God, I know
they're
where
like
you're going with
wooing and whying and how
Yeah.
handsome these guys are, but you won't even give your husband a second
No,
look.
then they'll complain to the husband, how come you're not as romantic as this particular character and all that,
Because it's a TV show. It doesn't exist. It's not real.
That's right. Or preferring to watch their shows rather than spend any quality time with their partner.
How, Martha? That's why now I'm afraid to fall in love again and get into another relationship because of things like that. It will be like beautiful honeymoon period for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe even 14 years. And then after that, everything goes to pot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's so scary, right?
Yeah,
I'm
people
sure you feel
change.
that way as well,
Yeah,
right?
people change, circumstances can change. I think that's the scary part, because there are no guarantees, even when married. So yeah, there are lots of reasons we talked about before why people are very hesitant to be in relationships or to get married. It takes effort from both parties, and definitely they have to be on the same page.
Okay, so let's try and fix the situation, okay? I am a man. I am tired of asking my woman over and over and over and over and over and over again, getting rejected. We are at the risk of disengaging. After a while, I'm just not interested in being around her anymore because she's not satisfying me physically, mentally, emotionally. Should I give up or should I keep trying? And if I keep trying, how do I do anything different? We'll cover that when we get back on air.
to traffic.
On the PIE towards Tuas, an accident at Simei Avenue. ECP towards Changi, vehicle breakdown after Tanjung Katong. KJE towards BKE, breakdown before Sungai Tengah. And on Clementi Road towards West Coast, not sure if it's still there, but there was an accident earlier after Clementi Road.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Behind Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee today. The question we're asking is why men get tired of asking. I think it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing.
Yes.
You know, you ask once, you ask twice, you ask 3 times, and it's like, okay, never mind. I think I won't ask anymore. Doesn't matter.
And you know, it doesn't just apply to relationships. I think men in general, correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to get things done. That's why I say men and women, you know, mentally, we're very different in how we approach things, right? Even at work, right? If you ask, you know, somebody to do something for you, and you ask them twice and still haven't done it, you're just not, you're either going to do it yourself or you're going to find somebody else to do it. You're not going
if
to
you're
keep
the boss,
asking.
you'll probably fire the person.
Yeah, absolutely. So same way in a relationship, you've been asking over and over and over and over again, you get rejected. No, despite how it makes you feel, should you give up? And if you don't give up, Dr. Lee, is it because you're asking the wrong way? How should you adjust your asking?
Yes, that's a very good question. I feel that when there's a lot of pressure, it becomes more and more challenging, and then they may allow or agree to have sex, but maybe it's not in a very enthusiastic way, and so it feels like pity sex. They feel humiliated, they feel like a beggar, they feel like what's the point? And I do notice a lot of my couples start to have less sex.
And once again, I just like to turn it around. Although we are talking about men asking women, it's the same thing. When women ask their men
Correct.
to be intimate.
Yes. So a lot of times we think it's just about attraction, but you have to think in a long-term relationship, there's a lot of other factors that comes into play. There's timing, there's stress, resentment, fatigue, pressure, caregiving, and on top of all that, the lack of emotional intimacy. So a lot of my female clients will say sex will be better, or they need the emotional connection before sex, and there's not enough time in the day to get the emotional connection.
Okay, that's really interesting. All right, so then how? If you've got not enough time, what is the solution to that?
Yes.
Can the women come up with a quick way to connect emotionally?
Correct.
Because for a guy, right, we are ready anytime.
Oh, okay, that's one way of thinking.
I like that response.
Okay, that's one way of thinking. Like I said, it can be both sides, right? Like you said, it can also be the woman doing more of the pursuing and the guy withdrawing. So for guys, I notice it's sometimes to do with their headspace. They're thinking of work, their stress, their deadlines. Fear of unemployment is another one. So anyway, coming back to what you said, what are the things that can really help? Let's just focus on being practical. So I feel like when you're tired, what can you do to decompress, compartmentalize instead of focusing on Netflix? So if you need help switching off, if you can tell your partner how they can support you, that'll be great. But what I notice with a lot of people is they're not trying to even help themselves. They're just going through the motions. They are doing the bare minimum. They are just burnt out.
Okay. All right.
So self-care is very important. We talked about it before. Being able to block out times to take care of yourself, your me time, but also creating a routine. Some people work with routine better in terms of like scheduling time. And of course, a lot of people will argue, oh, sex is not interesting. It's not nice. It feels pressurizing when we block off the time. But if you don't block off any time, it's just not going to happen as well.
Okay, all right. That's coming from the person who is, perhaps not so open to giving in, okay? But for the person who wants it, right, and is just not getting it, how do you increase his or her chances of asking and being successful?
Yeah, I think the key is being warm before sex, not warm emotionally, like I mentioned, right? The importance of emotional connection. To them, that is actually the motivation for sex, regardless of gender. Not just touch your partner only when you want sex. So then touch becomes something that is very cringy because it feels pressurizing. Or you touch me only when you want sex, only when you want something from me. And then they start to feel like, what do you take me for?
Yep.
It could have been anybody. So it's important to have that decency, warmth, care, and also the sense of romance in the relationship, which means effort lah.
Okay. Wow. It
A lot of work.
sounds like a delicate balance, to be able to think and do all these on top of our daily rigors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes as guys, right, we just feel like we want it right
Yes.
now.
Correct. So-
And we hope our partner feels the same way. Let's squeeze in a quickie
Yep.
Yeah.
or something.
I think it's tough because I'm not against quickie, but what happens is that if women in general, they feel that they need more time for foreplay, and then they start saying things like, oh, there's a right way to have sex, and then this is wrong. And I feel that they are just not open to opportunities and experimentation. Then it becomes, oh, sex is always your way then. It always has to be this 10-step thing, and it can be very, very tough for men as well.
Yeah. I don't like quickies, by the way.
Because you
I
have a
like
lot
to
of
take my
time in the day, and you're not a parent. You've got hours to kill.
Yeah, I just like taking my time. Yeah, usually, if you say quickie, right, it's because, you know that the lady needs more time. So it's not really respectful for the lady anyway. Because when you say quickie, it's not for the girl, no, it's for you.
No, but that said, correct me if I'm
Depends on the
wrong.
person,
Sometimes
yeah.
the ladies also want something quick,
Yeah,
right?
it depends
Really?
on the person. Yeah, if they are horny, especially before or after their period, that can be, a genuine horniness.
Okay. All right. Well,
I've
Karen-
never been with a woman who always wanted a quickie, always wants to take her time.
Okay.
Which, I'm
Well,
I'm very
that
happy
says
to
something about
oblige.
you. They want to enjoy the experience and adventure of Glenong. Okay, we'll carry on the conversation back in the Big Show TV.
All right, meantime, here's Bruno Mars with Cha 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 on Kiss 92.
All right, so okay, that's one. Be warm when you talk to the person. Don't just wait until you need to have sex before you have any sort of physical touch. Is there anything else that we should keep in mind when we want to avoid rejection?
Yeah, especially for people in long-term relationship, what tends to happen is they always have sex in the same way. Just like we are creatures of habit, we tend to masturbate in the same way, which is why it's important to spice things up for yourself, even when you're by yourself, because when you do things in a different way, it actually activates different parts of your body. It stimulates creativity, openness, and it actually rewires your body so that you are more open to change, variety, and growth. So yes, a lot of guys prefer sex in the same way. You can say that they are creatures of habit, but really consistency is also reassuring. The same thing all the time can be reassuring. So for your partner, they may be the opposite, right? So they may prefer not just maintenance sex or routine. So just now we mentioned warmth,
Yep.
but there are other things to think about, which is like play and giving them choices. So I started to joke about this with my clients, which is this restaurant doesn't have that on the menu today.
Yep.
So if you have certain things on the menu and your partner says, can we have sex? What kind of sex? So if it's penetrative sex, sorry, this restaurant doesn't have this today.
Okay, it's quite interesting, when you talk about if you're the same person, same position, same way. I think environment also plays a big part. Like personally for me, it's the place. I'll get bored after a while if we're only ever getting intimate in the same place. But
Yeah.
if we've got a change of environment, we're on holiday, then suddenly, it's new, it's novel, it's exciting all over again.
Right, but it's it's usually the bed, what? That's the thing for people who are married for many years.
And I
all
think
that.
maybe that's one of the reasons why perhaps married couples struggle to have, to keep that spark going all the time, because it's always same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on quantity, focus on quality, not just more sex, but better sex. Variety is key. And sometimes by experimenting, you start to realize what you didn't realize about yourself that you're into. So for instance, I really like, this is a bit of sharing. I really like going to nice, beautiful hotels because I don't have to worry about cleaning up. And also it's just clean, right? It's fresh and it's big, it's beautiful.
Oh, you're talking about hotel sex?
Yeah, I'm
Hotel
talking
sex is
about
great.
I'm talking about the penthouse as well. So there was once I went to a villa in Bali with my friends. The moment I stepped into this villa, my whole body just was so turned on. I was so horny, and I was just with my friends, right? And that was when I realized, it just clicked to me that the bigger the place, the more beautiful, the more light, the more horny I'll be. So that's what I mean by being open to experimenting and discovering yourself.
Okay. So in other words, try different things. You never know what you would like. What was that secret button to push
Yep.
until you experience
You
it.
must hook up with a
Yeah.
very rich man who has a very big house.
When I was younger.
Bali.
When I was younger. And we can treat ourselves, right? Save up money, and we don't have to do this like all the time. But special occasions like your anniversary, your birthday, you can definitely create experiences that makes it special because you are the most important person in your life. You are worth investing the time, effort into making yourself happy.
Okay. All right. So that is a good way to try and up your chances.
But I think that many couples who do that also, like, on their anniversary.
Yes.
They check into a nice hotel.
Because
and
that's
all
the
that.
expectation, though.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
whether or not they do anything or not, that's another story again
Yeah.
altogether. I
And
know
if
some
you're-
people who check into these hotels, but they don't do anything.
Especially if you
Yeah.
are a parent. I'll put up my hand there many times, right? Like Sabrina and I, it's our anniversary. We can get some time apart from the child. We'll go away, we'll have dinner. And then we check into the nice big room. And it's like, now we can sleep. Uninterrupted sleep.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
because
right.
it's tiring.
And there's nothing wrong with that
Yes.
as well.
So what happens when we're busy, tired, stressed is that we are actually a bit dysregulated. So when we go into an environment where we can start to calm down and relax and unwind and calm down our nervous system, this is where the exhaustion and what we really need comes up. So this is when they have all the good intentions, wanting to be intimate, but their body takes over. They are just too exhausted.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And there's no one to, as in, like, do not blame anyone. Some couples, they blame each other. And I don't understand why they do that.
Because I think it comes from a place of frustration.
frustration, and maybe they're ashamed as well.
Could be.
You know what I mean? But you should never do that, because then you turn each other off.
Yeah, it makes things worse.
You make things worse, absolutely.
So to that point, is it ever okay to guilt trip your partner
No.
into giving
No.
in? Because I know there are a lot of people who do that, right?
No.
I mean, you're frustrated, you get upset. Some people feel like maybe that's the only way. If I can't, short of forcing myself on the other person, which is something you should never do, the only way they'll be able to persuade their partner is if they guilt trip them into giving in.
Force them, threaten them.
Yeah.
But it will come to that, like we were talking about sexless marriages, and your definition of a sexless marriage is having sex less than 10 times a year.
Yes, that's
You were
right.
saying something like that. So for couples who are in sexless marriages, I do understand if one party, gets frustrated.
Yep.
But still, it's no reason to make things worse, I guess.
Correct.
I think to make things worse, right? Even worse than that, right? I suppose maybe women may feel this, will probably relate to this because we always assume it's always easier for women to get some if they wanted to, right? If they know that they're getting attention from other people outside, but they can't get the attention from their own spouse.
Yeah, then they feel very, very lonely. And
It's not just
they're
lonely,
not
it's
getting the validation.
I know I can get this from outside, but I am preventing myself from, getting my
Being held
gratification.
back,
Yes.
being held back. And then as age is ticking, time is ticking, sometimes they say the fear of missing out.
Yes.
Like I'm at my prime, I'm looking good, I'm fitter than ever before. So yes, we were talking about duty sex, and what happens when there's pressure and manipulation or coercion. What it does is that it damages desire in the long term, because yes, they give it to you, you get what you want, but it doesn't feel good. So your partner may feel unsafe, and they may feel punished. So it's actually, yes, you get what you want for the time being, but on the long run, it actually makes things worse.
So should they seek satisfaction elsewhere then?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Lee.
coming back to what we were saying, what really helps the person with the lower sex drive, I feel it's really important to understand when they say no, it's not that they don't want you. What if you reframe I don't want sex to not I don't want you, but maybe not now. I'm dysregulated. Help me to relax. Help me to slow down. Don't pressurize me. Give me more affection. Have more warmth in the relationship. If they keep saying they want more emotional connection, then why is this not happening?
Okay. I remember very
yeah.
early on, sorry to interrupt you. I only remember you shared very early on in our sessions, you actually had not a strategy, but you had not a habit, but a practice where if you had to deny your partner, you would assure them that you would give them something the next day.
Yes, the next I call it the 48-hour rule, 24-hour rule. Some people 48 hours, some people 3 days, 72 hours. But essentially, is giving yourself the space to rest, get sleep, or you're not up to it, and then being able to offer something out of willingness, not compulsion. For me, within the next 24 hours. For some of my other couples, they are okay with 48 hours or 72 hours. I think it's not about the quantity, it's about the bit, the fact that they initiated and they are important to
gesture.
you. Therefore, you also reciprocate by acknowledging that.
I think that's great. Huh?
Yeah.
That's a very good idea because you kind of program yourself.
Yes.
In that sense,
Yeah.
like my partner needed it, but I couldn't give it to
Yeah.
to my partner. So, yeah, I'm making up for it.
Yeah, and I'm from the guy's perspective as well,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if he wanted and you said no, at least he knows it's not no forever. He's like, okay, fine, I can be patient knowing that it's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think if a guy doesn't have sex, he can die. It's like I think it's a health thing as well. Like
Yes.
if I don't have sex regularly, right, I feel less healthy. Is that normal?
Yeah, I know of people who feel irritable, agitated, grumpy, and moody. They even say they feel depressed. So yes, what we are emphasizing today is how about the warmth in the relationship, offering rest or flirting, more touching, giving them emotional safety. Not just touching your partner when you want sex, but just having more touch in general, and also not initiate just when you're horny. Then it makes them feel like, okay, now I'm expected to perform.
Okay. And I think, I'm going to say this on behalf of both guys as well, all right? Fact of the matter is, let's be realistic. While you want your woman to find you attractive for the rest of your life, right? The same way, you are also going to look at the models on Baywatch and go, ooh, they're hot. You also need to put some work into yourself as well. You know what I mean? So try and also be a little bit more attractive for your woman too, if you want her to pay more attention to you.
Yeah, you don't want your partner to feel that they are mothering you all the time,
Yeah.
that nothing gets done, you don't even take care of yourself, and they have to keep nagging, and then they also feel unattractive.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, let's talk about communication again. Like early on, we were talking about what each party likes. How difficult it is for couples to open up, to tell each other exactly what they want, what they like.
Yep.
Very difficult.
The right buttons to push. Okay, let's talk about that in just a bit.
Or job cuts as early as next week. Sources say the cuts will impact thousands of roles in sales and consulting, as well as jobs at the Xbox gaming division. US companies have been trimming their headcounts in recent months. Firms across the tech, media, and finance sectors are doing so to rein in costs while investing heavily in AI infrastructure. Meta says it plans to cut 10% of its workforce this year, while Amazon will eliminate 16,000 jobs globally.
Those were your news headlines from the Straits Times. Read more at straitstimes.com.
From the 2000s to today, all the great songs in one place. This is Kiss 92. Kiss 92 traffic.
On the SLE towards the CTE, a vehicle is broken down at the TPE exit. Lower Delta Road towards AYE, accident after the AYE. TPE towards PIE, another accident after Pasir Ris Drive 8. And Central Boulevard towards Nickel Highway. Take note of heavy traffic before Raffles Quay.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning behind closed doors is Dr. Martha Tara Lee. And of course, when Dr. Lee is here, we're usually talking about sex.
That's right.
And just on The Big Show TV early on, I was asking Dr. Lee about communication. Right? Most of the time, I think couples don't feel like getting intimate with each other is because I think they don't know how to please each other.
Yep.
So as a result of that, they don't look forward to having sex, with each other. But if both parties are able to please each other, I'm sure it would be the ultimate form of entertainment.
Yep.
They won't be watching Netflix already, to try and relax. They would spend more time being intimate with each other. So how can couples open up this line of communication and actually be honest and tell each other what they like and what they don't like?
Yep.
Because everyone has maybe a kink or two, right?
Okay.
Oh, yes. So I was thinking when you were saying this is that a lot of people can't communicate because they don't even know themselves. They don't know what to say. So when their partner asks them, what do you like? What you want me to do? They just have absolutely no idea. So it is important, I feel, to just try anything you are remotely curious about and just give yourself some time to drop into your body so that you can start to express what you think will be helpful or what you think you would like, rather than thinking that there's a definitive answer.
Yeah. Okay. I have to say though, I mean, we've been talking and we've been very open about the idea of expressing your desires, communicating with your partner, asking for what you need. But I have to tell you, for many of us, right, even the idea of asking for it is very jijik already. You know what I mean? The fact that you even have to ask for it. Because let's think about it. When you first started dating, when you first started getting married, this is something you didn't even have to ask for. It just came naturally. You know what I mean? You just wanted to be around each other, entwined in each other, every opportunity that you got. And somewhere along the line, you kind of drifted away, and now you've got to ask for it.
Yeah, it's like you had it, but then it was taken away.
Yes. So that's why people always say, oh, I think we are not compatible anymore. But, you know, when we are new to each other, that's when the novelty, the excitement comes in. But when you're in a long-term relationship, you think you know your partner, you become a bit taking things for granted or a bit of like too much in comfort zone. So it's important to realize that your partner can evolve and can change and also wants to grow with you.
Yep.
So if you change, you grow, you take the initiative, you ask questions, you ask for feedback, then surely you'll get to know each other more and more. I do have a lot of clients who struggle with any sort of communication when the topic is sex. So everything is okay. They can talk about anything except sex because I don't think we get any training around it. So this is where I come in to help facilitate more of a discussion. And before they know it, it doesn't take long. They actually become more comfortable with the subject matter. And then they do ask themselves, like, why was it so difficult in the first place?
Yeah.
We're just not used to hearing or talking about sex at all.
I mean, it's also your point of reference, lah. I mean, most of the time, you know, we're always going to compare what we were like when we were getting it the most, right? And that usually is at the very start of the relationship. At least from a guy's perspective, right? My theory is, like Glenn said many times, we took it for granted. We took, you know, after a while, we just assumed we were going to get it all the time. So we stopped making an effort, right? When you are first in a relationship, you don't know if you're going to last with this person for a week, for a month. Every opportunity to dapat, you are just going to take it, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But now you're married. You are in a long-term relationship. So after a while, you just sat on your laurels and you were like, okay, life, tonight don't have, there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. And tomorrow, 3 years have gone by and you have forgotten how to sleep together.
Yeah, but technically, it is actually impossible to be at our A game all the time.
Yeah.
Because our A game, we leave it for the workplace because it's such a battlefield. And so we want to cut ourselves some slack, and that's why I feel it's not sustainable to be at the way that you were when you were younger. You were, first of all, younger. It was a different time, place, and circumstance.
Yeah.
So be realistic. I have a lot of clients who say, "Oh, I want what we had last time," but what we had last time is in the past. So if we can understand this in every other area in our life, why can't we understand it when it comes to our sexuality?
By right, actually, as you grow older, you should be, you should slow down a little bit. You know, but some people can't slow down.
Yeah.
They don't want to.
Some people are still very highly
Highly
charged.
sexed.
Yeah, and that's where I think problems arise.
That's why people say, oh, I don't feel like I'm in my 50s. I feel like I'm still in my 20s. Your mind and your body is not catching up with one another. Some people are still in Peter Pan phase.
Yeah.
They just want to play all the time. And it is okay, but we have to be realistic with whatever constraints that life gives us.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Dr. Martha Tara Lee on The Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Rihanna with Disturbia on Kiss 92.
Yes, I would love to circle back to what we talked about, which is what is helpful to couples. So just now I mentioned, don't initiate only when you're horny. So you are so heated up and you just want it now.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, you get upset and frustrated. Why not do it when you are not so horny and allow for the build up to happen?
Okay.
I do understand my clients who only feel confident to have sex only when they have an erection, but it's really important to realize that's not the case for their partner. So being able to not see sex as the first contact or affection that week, start earlier, flirt more often, have warmth without a gender, ask clearly, let no be safe, and try again without sulking.
What do you
if
mean by
they say no?
Let no be safe?
Yeah, because imagine the amount of pressure when you say no and you are punished for it. And next time when you say yes, you are less honest, meaning you are just having the pressure of not being able to say no.
But you see, if a guy is not turned on, he does not want to initiate or start anything because he's afraid he cannot finish, you see.
Yes.
Correct.
And that would affect his confidence. That would, especially if his partner were to expect,
Yes.
something and he can't get it up, then it becomes a very awkward
Correct.
situation
Not
as well.
just for his ego, but for her as well.
Yeah.
She is going to feel like, oh my God, is
You're
it
not
me?
turning- I'm not turning you on, yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, you're not attracted to me. You don't have an erection.
Yeah.
But in reality, I do know of a lot of people when they're focused on their partner, they do lose their erection. The issue is not losing your erection, but being able to get it up again. So being connected to your body, trusting your body, having done practices around being connected to your sexuality, and knowing and trusting that your body can be responsive. I think it's important. I think what happens with a lot of guys is they're focused on the destination, they're focused on finishing, but they're not enjoying the process. Whereas their partner wants to enjoy the process, and their partner feels disconnected when they're just focused on ejaculating rather than being with them.
But there's also a pressure lah. Half the time when you reach a certain age, I know for a lot of guys, it's like, I don't focus on the journey. I just want to make sure I make it to the ending, right?
Yeah.
Because we cannot take that for granted.
Correct.
Especially once you start getting older and all that, testosterone levels drop and all that, you may not get to the finish line.
true.
The pressure is real. The pressure
Yeah.
is definitely real because I've seen many clients who express exactly what both of you just said. So what I do tell them is set the bar very low, set the expectation. So I've had partners who say things like, oh, I'm not sure whether I can get erect. I'm not sure whether I can ejaculate. And then I tell them I don't care. And because I just want a connection. So being able to set the expectation and even articulate your fears, I think is a big part of letting both people be just focused on the process rather than the destination.
Yeah, and I think it's also very important to know like what turns your partner on as well, because
Yeah.
I mean all these things help. I have friends, for example, right, who are having problems in this area, and I think they've more or less given up already.
Yeah.
Because their partners are not into certain things.
Or
You know
they've
what I mean?
changed. They used to be into certain things, but now they are no longer into those
Correct.
things.
So, like for example, no oral sex. So it's like it becomes even harder for them to
Yes.
get into the whole mood and to
Yes.
get turned on, and
Yes.
and so it becomes a very weird, awkward process, and
Correct.
they don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Let's go back on it one last time. Rihanna with Disturbia right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. It's Glenn, Tim, as well as Dr. Martha Tara Lee today. Behind closed doors, we're talking about sex.
Yeah, we're talking about why men get fed up of asking. Although I'll be honest with you, these couple of weeks, I don't know how many men are asking. They're all too distracted with what's happening at the World Cup.
That's right.
I wonder
that's
if the
right.
women are feeling very neglected, to be honest.
Yeah, they call it the World Cup something, right? Okay, can't remember.
But if their country wins, 9 months later, all of them will be having babies because they were all celebrating, right?
I tell you who's still having sex during the World Cup, the Brazilians. They really know how to have fun.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
They're such a happy and sexy group of people.
Maybe people don't say no in Brazil.
Okay, I remember World Cup widow.
World Cup widow.
Yes, they are the widow during that period.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think I'll go as far as to say that the South Americans know how to have fun. They really do.
Cool.
Okay. Dr. Martha Tara Lee, Shalini has just flashed the wrap up on air board in front of you, so go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say that here are some scripts to connect with your partner. You can say things that can actually be helpful, such as I miss feeling close to you, I miss feeling wanted with you. Can we have some romantic time this week? Would you like a massage? Maybe we see how we feel. There's no pressure. I just want to cuddle for a while. Like all these things help to keep the warmth and to keep the connection, let them calm down their nervous system, and then maybe they may change their mind, they may get into the mood, because some people are slower to warm up.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's good to know. For those of you who have only tuned into us on air, right, we would like to encourage you to return to the Big Show TV, watch the replay. There were a lot of great things that were mentioned which did not make it to the air, particularly involving Dr. Martha and what kind of environment she needs to be put in the mood.
That's right.
So I really like today's show because we didn't just talk about the common issue, but also what are some of the practical things that couples can start to think about doing to have more intimacy in their lives.
Okay. So do you feel like you were less proper today because Angel wasn't here?
No, I was able to pack in more things today.
Oh.
We'll wait for Angel to come back, and then I want to talk about, you know what, next, because next week Martha is coming in as well, right?
Friday.
On Friday, right? You know what we're going to talk about? Married couples who cheat on each other.
Oh.
I want to ask the question, do they cheat because they want to save their marriage?
Cheating to save a marriage, not to ruin the marriage,
No.
but to save it.
To save the marriage. As
Okay.
in like, oh, we're not having, sex with each other anymore. Let's get a divorce. But they don't want to get divorced, right?
Yep.
So, but in order to still have...
Be together
be together and to have...
and still satisfy the individual needs.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think that's real because there are people who do it so that they don't rock the status quo.
Well, they call it
Exactly.
open relationships, right? Are open relationships really
No,
considered cheating?
I'm talking about each party not knowing about it.
Oh, okay.
That's cheating, yeah. Open means with consent.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't think, that's a good idea at all. The whole open relationship thing. It's not going to end up well. But I know of some couples, in order for them to keep their marriage alive,
Yep.
they have friends with benefits.
Okay. All right. Wow. I did not realize that was such a common thing here. in
Can we talk
Singapore.
about that?
Okay, sure.
We'll talk about that next week on
Thank
Behind
you.
Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Lee. Thank
See
you very much.
you.
Glenn Angel and